Hello, everyone! Today, let's hook this little dinosaur together. A very kawaii little doll. This is the front. This is the back side. It has some dorsal fins. Then the hook method is also very simple. It mainly uses 5 strands of milk cotton. The model of the crochet is 3.0 millimeters. Okay, let's hook the leg part. First, 6 single crochets in magic ring. Wrap the thread around your finger like this. Pinch the intersection with your right hand and take it off. Lay the yarn with your left hand. Change your left hand and pinch the intersection. Crochet in. Wrap the yarn around and pull it over. And then you crochet it around and pull it. This is a chain stitch. Next, we hook 6 single crochets in a round. First, crochet threading. The crochet presses the yarn and pulls it over. Then pull the 2 loops together. This is a single crochet. Mark the first single crochet. After each single crochet is hooked. It has a V-shaped crochet on it. Next, take the second stitch. Thread the crochet, press the yarn and pull it over. Then through the 2 loops. Third single crochet. Then the 4th stitch. The single crochet is indicated by the letter symbol X. In the first round, we hooked 6X. Okay, we've hooked 6 single crochets. Next, pull this little thread tail hard. This will turn the fabric into a disc. And then we do end to end. Find the first single crochet we marked inside the stitches. Thread the crochet sideways through 2 threads. Then hook the end of the yarn horizontally on it. Crochet this yarn and pull it over. Take it directly to the back loop. Tension. This is a slip stitch. You need to connect like this after each round is hooked. Next, we hook the second round. First, hook a chain stitch. The second round, we hook 6 single crochet increases. We still have the first single crochet that we just marked. Thread a crochet inside the stitch. Crochet a single crochet increased. The crochet is indicated by the letter symbol V. Let's hook the first increase. Thread the crochet in the first stitch. Pull the yarn. Hook the first single crochet. Mark it well. And threading a crochet through the stitches. Then hook a single crochet. Pull the yarn over. Then through 2 loops. An increase is done. A single crochet increased equals to single crochets from the same stitch. Next, hook the second one. That is, in the second stitch. Hook 2 single crochets. Okay, the third single crochet increases. A total of 6 increases are hooked in a re-end after the second round is hooked. 12 single crochets in this round. One more crochet on the last stitch. That's 2 single crochets on the hook. Okay, after the hook is done, let's do end to end. Or thread the crochet into the first single crochet. Pull the yarn. Bring it directly. Connect with a slip stitch. And we're going to do the third round. The third round. 3 single crochets and 1 increase is a group. Repeat the hook 3 times. We need to hook the back loop only. Hook a slip stitch first. Let's look at the stitches. We take the second half of a single crochet. We should hook in the back loop. Keep the front loop of the crochet and leave it alone. In the back loop, crochet single crochets in turn. Hook the first single crochet. Mark it well. Then the second single crochet. This whole round is hooked in the back loop only. After hooking these 3 single crochets, next, hook an increase. Hook 2 single crochets in the 4th stitch. It's a group. Next, you need to repeatedly hook this group. Hook 3 times. Then we're going to hook a second time. Hook 3 single crochets first. These 3 single crochets should be 3 stitches. Then the next one increases. It was hooked the second time, so here we go a third time. Hook 3 single crochets first. When you hooking, learn to look at this crochet diagram. Then 1 increase. Okay, after the hook is done, we will do end-to-end connection. We're done with the third round. Okay, the rounds for 2-6. 1 single crochet in each stitch. 15 single crochets in each round. First hook a chain stitch. Crochet the first stitch. Pick the 2 yarns. Hook single crochet. Everyone follow me. First hook this 4th to 6th rounds. Hook 1 single crochet in each stitch. Hook these 15 single crochets. After the 6th round is hooked, we haven't done end to end because we need to hook 2 for this leg. What about after the first leg is hooked? We stretch it like this. Then cut the yarn. Treat it with a sutured crochet. The end-to-end part of the 6th round. Let's take a look. Skip the first single crochet. Thread the crochet through the second single crochet. Like this. And find the last single crochet hole. Pick its back loop. Through like this. Then through the back loop of the first single crochet. Then pull the yarn out. Connection complete. After the first leg is hooked, cut the yarn. Follow this method to hook the second leg. After the hook is done, there is no need to cut the yarn after the 6th round. Then we connected it with a slip stitch. Okay, the second leg is hooked. And then what we do is we attach the legs. First hook 3 chain stitches. And we hooked it up and we grabbed the first leg. Then thread the crochet at this point where we meet end to end. And then what we do is we hook a slip stitch. Pull the yarn over and bring it to the back. Then hook a chain stitch. Then, start the hook edge of the 7th round, threading a crochet through the first single crochet. Hook a single crochet. Mark it well. This is the first stitch of our 7th round. Next, hook another 14 single crochets. 15 stitches in total. 3rd crochet. 4th stitch. That is to say, first, hook all the stitches on the first leg. Hook 15 single crochets. After the hook is done. That's it, our 3 chain stitches. This place. So we hooked 3 single crochets into the 3 chain stitches. On this side, pick the front loop. Hook 3 single crochets. After 3 hooks of these 3 stitches, then hook up the 15 single crochets on this leg. Hook the 15 single crochets on this leg. Okay, after hooking, just to the 3 chain stitches, this place, on it, hook 3 single crochets accordingly. First stitch. Second stitch. Third stitch. Okay, after the hook is done, we will do end-to-end contact. There are a total of 36 single crochets in round 7. The 7th round is complete, equivalent to the first round of the body part. Next 8th round. What about the 8th round? 5 single crochets and 1 increase is a group. Repeat hook 6 times. First hook 5 single crochets. After the first stitch is hooked, mark it well. Second stitch. Third stitch. Fourth stitch. After the 5th stitch is hooked, an increase. It's a group. As for this whole round, you need to repeat the hook 6 times. After we finish this 8th round, next we will look at the diagram and hook round 9 to 11 by yourself. I put the diagram on the screen, so just follow the diagram to hook. We've been following the diagram. Hook to round 11 becomes 48 stitches. Next we do round 12. What about round 12? We mainly use a decrease. Let's hook a chain stitch first. What about round 12? 6 single crochets and 1 decrease is a group. Repeat hook 6 times. Take the first stitch first. Mark it well. Next second stitch. Third crochet. Fourth stitch. Fifth stitch. Sixth stitch. 6x is hooked. The next one is decreasing. Let's see how to hook decrease. First of all, find the front loop of the 7th single crochet. Through the 4th loop. Then through the front loop of the 8th single crochet too. Then hook the yarn with crochet. Pass through the first 2 loops. Through the back 2 loops. This is a decrease, denoted by the letter symbol A. Okay, 6 single crochets and 1 decrease. It's a group. Then repeat the hook a second time. And then we look at the decrease. First, you need to go through the front loop of the next stitch, through another front loop. Then pull the thread over. The decrease is done. Here we go. Just hook it. Next 6 single crochets. Then a decrease. Pick up a front loop of the next stitch. Pick up another front loop. Pull the yarn. That's it. We will follow this method. Hook the 12th round. After the hook is done, let's look at the diagram. Hook round 13 to 20, and I put the diagram up on the screen. So just follow the diagram. Let's take a look. And we did this until round 20. After the hook is done, lengthen the yarn. We race still using this needle. Let's deal with it. This end-to-end place on the last round. Every little piece after that, end-to-end on the last round. Just follow this method. Thread the yarn over this suture needle. Skip the first stitch. Thread the needle to the second stitch, then thread the back loop of the last single crochet, along with the small loop below, together with the second half of the first crochet. That's it. And we're done with the leg and the body. Then put fiber fill in it and fill it up. Okay, what about after we finish the body part? Let's look at the diagram again. Hook the head and 2 hands of this little dinosaur and this tail. And the back part of the back is all hooked up, mainly using single crochets, increase and decrease. And I put the diagram on the screen. So you're going to hook through the diagram. Let's take a look. We've crocheted every part of the baby dinosaur according to the diagram. After the hook is done, we put the fiber fill inside the little hands and head, body, tail. The back, we don't have to put PP cotton on him. So what's next? Let's attach this body to the head first. What about when sewing? We need to put this head and body part, the slightly connected part, put on the same side. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to sew head and body. The final number of stitches left is the same, so we sew stitch by stitch. It's all 30 stitches. A stitch on the head. It's just 1 stitch at a time. The number of stitches is the same. Everyone, follow me and sew up the head and body first. Okay, what about after suturing this head and body? And we're going to suture up this arm. Just sew it in this position, counting up from this leg. Just place it at the round 14. We can find the center. Then put 2 hands. Put it on the left and right sides symmetrically and sew it up. That's it. When sewing, round around to sew. There's nothing difficult about it. So what's next? We sew the tail to the back of its body. So on these 2 legs, this place where this body meets, that's it. Just sew it in this position. It's also a seam that rounds around. The rim part is anchored to the body. Okay, So what's next? Let's first put these 2 hands and a tail. Sew it up first. Let's look at the stitching. Find your spot. And then we attach it to the body. Thread a needle on the body like this. Then put a stitch through the hand. A stitch in the body. Hand through a stitch. Just follow the out yarn of this circle. Fix the handle in this position. What about sewing the tail? Also according to this method. Just sew it on the body in a circle. Everyone follow me. Put 2 hands and 1 tail. All fixed. Okay, let's put these 2 little arms. And the tail is all sewn up. And then what we do is we sew on the back. Just leave a long yarn on this one back. Then the other 5 don't need to leave yarn. Use sewing it up. Let's take a look at the suturing process. Just sew with this thread. What about the other 5? No need to leave a long tail. Let's sew. Start sewing at the tail. This place sews the first one, and then sew another one on the tail. Then, in order, just keep sewing it on like this. 2 on the tail. What about the remaining 4? Just yarn it up in sequence. Let's take a look at the suturing process. Suture 1 on the tail first. Thread a crochet through the tail. Then what? Thread this double-sided one. Just sew it up accordingly. The point is not to sew it crooked. Sew straight on a straight yarn. Just sew it up. Just sew it up stitched by stitches like this. After sewing the first one, we can sew the second one directly together. Just sew. Sew off these 6 backs. Everyone follow this method. How many are left? All fixed to the body like this. After suturing 6 backs like this, just sew it up one by one. And that's the end of it. Very nice back. Then we installed the eyes. What about the position of the eyes? It starts at the top of your head and counts down. Put 2 eyes between rounds 13 and 14 here. In the middle, an interval of 12 stitches is enough. If you have blushes at home, you can apply some blushes to it for a cuter look. You can make it bigger. That's it. Our cute little dinosaur is done. Okay, thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Buy.